Hey, good morning, afternoon, evening. Welcome to Robbo Land's Vids. My name is Rob Wheatley. This is Disgrace Lands, and this is a little talking video. There's no guitar playing in this, but I think this is something important that I've discovered on my journey through the internet this week. I've discovered there's a guitar that's available to purchase from a very famous company who make very high-end guitars, and I've this is not going to be easy, right? It's the company called Kiesel, right? Kiesel Guitars. They make very high-end guitars, apparently very good stuff. They make all these headless things and these multi-scale things and multi-string things, and you can go online and you can design your own guitar, and they come in like thousands and thousands of dollars, you know, $2,000 to $3,000 easily. You can splash out on one of these things, and it's fantastic. Now that's great. But they're obviously not an English company. I don't know where, I should look where they're from, but it's not really important. That's not really the point of this video. What is the point of this video is that, well, I'll read you the blurb. They brought a new line of guitars out, and I'll just tell you what they've said about it. It says, with its modern performance specs and competitive pricing, this guitar is the result of years of R&D. The guitar is Kiesel's most forward-thinking design, engineered for comfort, quick playing, and precision with every note. Years of R&D, years and forward thinking. It does seem, however, that maybe they haven't spent quite enough time thinking about the name of this guitar, because what they've called it, well, the headline says introducing the Kyber, right? The guitar is called the Kyber, which, if you don't live in England or maybe live outside London, probably doesn't mean a lot to you. But over here in the UK, you see, we have a particular, wherever you live in the world, you know, your local area and whatever tends to have its own way of speaking, you know, its own slang, its own idioms, this sort of thing. And London is very famous for Cockney rhyming slang, you know. So a Cockney is someone who's born in the East End of London within the sound of Bow Bells, the Church of Bow Bells, right? My mum and my dad are both Cockneys. My mum was from Hackney, my dad's from Bethnal Green. So Cockney rhyming slang was always around, always part of the speech. I use it. You know, you might be familiar with, you know, if you've ever seen the Mary Poppins with Dick Van Dyke's outrageous accent. Well, you know, oh, God blimey, Mary Poppins, I've got to go down the apples and pears, you know, down the stairs. Oh, that's more trouble and strife. You know, that's not a Cockney accent, but that's Dick Van Dyke's accent, you know, trouble and strife, wife. The reason Dick Van Dyke had that appalling accent, by the way, in that film, was that his vocal coach, I can't remember his vocal coach was, I think his vocal coach was Australian, and he bloody hated the English. And so when Dick Van Dyke wanted to learn how to do a Cockney accent, this Australian just bloody made it up and said that's how they talk. So Dick Van Dyke, God blimey, Mary Poppins, no one talks like that. But there are some elements of Cockney rhyming slang in there. Now, Kyber, for God's sake, you can't call a guitar the Kyber. Who's going to buy a guitar with that on headstock? Me, I can't afford it, but if I could afford it, I would buy one just for the shits and giggles, because there is a place, I should have looked this up. This isn't a geography lesson, but there's a place, India, is it between India and Pakistan, or India, somewhere there, but there's a mountain range and there's a valley that runs between it, and that's known as the Khyber Pass. You see, the Khyber Pass. Cockney rhyming slang, Khyber Pass. Arse. So Kiesel have literally made a guitar that is arse, and it only costs like £2,500–3,000. The Kyber, introducing the Kyber, it says on it. I can't fucking stop laughing at this. It's ridiculous. The Kyber. This is the stupidest thing. So I thought, what I'd do is I'd invent a guitar company. I'm going to start my own guitar company, and it's going to be based on Cockney rhyming slang, you see. And so, you know, obviously Harley Benton is named after, I don't know if it's a real person or a fictitious person named Harley Benton. So I thought we need to give my guitar company a name that's sort of, you know, evocative and, you know, like there's a craftsman, someone. So I thought we'd call the guitar company Harold Monk. All right, so Harold Monk Guitars. That's what my guitar company is called. And you might want to sit there on Google if you're from outside London and work out. You might be able to work out what all this is. So Harold Monk is the guitar company. Introducing the Khyber. So I thought we need a signature guitar. Who can we get as our main artist? You know, who's an archetypal but, you know, iconic British guitarist? Brian May, obviously Brian May from Queen, and he's famous for using is it a penny he plays the guitar with, or an old sixpenny bit, an old tanner, something like that. I thought, well, we can't afford Brian May. We can't even really afford a sixpenny bit, but we can probably afford half of that. So there used to be another coin in Britain, pre-decimal, which was like a little hexagonal thing, quite a thick thing, and it was worth 3 pennies, and it's known as a threepenny bit. So the first range of guitars, Harold Monk guitars, are the threepenny bits. Right, so that's the first guitar. Where is this video going? I think it's gone already. So the threepenny bits is the first guitar we've got. Yeah, so the old threepennies. So there you go, the old threepennies. So that's excellent. So that's the first guitar. But, you know, you can't just hang an entire guitar company just on the basis of one guitarist. What if he does something, you know, what if he runs over a badger or something? Then his whole career's gone, isn't it? So I thought what we could do is we could name it after someone else. How about Jacob Collier? You know, he's a famous musician, so we could have another range of guitars called the Jacobs, couldn't we? The Jacobs. That's another one. You might want to Google that one as well. I'm sorry, this video is really for my own personal benefit, but there's no reason you shouldn't be suffering as well. So the Jacobs as well. So we got the threepenny bits and the Jacobs. I thought, well, that's all right. We've named them after 2 iconic British musicians, but there must be other iconic British historical figures. And I thought, well, we've got a wealth of history. One thing the UK's got is a wealth of history, and one thing we're known for is the fact we've still got a monarchy. You know, we house the German, English German royal family here, and so I thought, well, rather than, you know, bringing it too up to date, because we want to evoke tradition and that, and I thought, well, what's one of the famous kings? Well, we had King Richard, didn't we? We had King Richard I, King Richard II. So I'm thinking Richard III. So we've got another range of guitars called the Richards, the Richard III. So that's another one you can look up. So we got that. So we got the threepenny bits, the Jacobs, and the Richards. So I'm bored with naming guitars after people now. I think it'd be more important that England's also known for its countryside, isn't it? Beautiful, bucolic, you know, this green and pleasant land and all that sort of stuff. And so, you know, we're building our guitars out of wood, out of natural materials. So we want to invoke nature and farms and farming, but also forward motion, you know. So what would that be? That could be like a working animal on a farm, couldn't it? Also a means of transport. So I'm thinking the pony and trap. That would be a good one, wouldn't it? Range of guitars called the Ponies. So we've got the Jacobs, the threepenny bits, the Richards and the Ponies. Introducing the Khyber. It says I can't stop laughing at that. So anyway, that's really all this video is about. That's just that. Next week I will be I can't. Sorry, it's not all about. You can't just sit here and make stupid words in relation to guitars. So what I'm going to do next week, I'm going to be reviewing the new Ovation, the Ovation Testes, and the Gretsch ball bags. All right, so that's coming on the channel next. So watch out for those. And as always, don't take it too seriously, because you could get hit by a pony and trap tomorrow. See you on the next one. Take care. Introducing. Oh, there's another thing. There's another thing. A few years ago, this is the bonus. This is the bonus on the end of the video. A few years ago, one of my nephews got married, you see, and they decided that it would be nice if everyone who turned up to the wedding just wore something with a bit of turquoise on it, a bit of turquoise colour. I didn't have anything turquoise. I didn't think so. I thought, what can I buy? I thought it'd be nice. I'd go and buy a watch, you know, a cheap plastic watch with a turquoise strap. That'd be excellent. That'd be something that's usable, practical. And so I thought, who makes watches, you know, in bright colours? And Swatch, obviously, the Swiss watch company, Swatch. They do fantastic watches. And I looked through their range, And as it happened, they did a whole range of watches based on the solar system and all the planets. And I love space. That's where I'm from originally. One of the outer regions of God knows where. And they did one, mission to Earth, mission to Mars. That was a red one. They did, Venus, which I can't remember. Jupiter was a red one. A one with a spot on it. But they did a turquoise one. And it's a watch with a nice turquoise face with little hands on it. It was lovely. And you turn the watch over and printed on the back, it said, Mission to Uranus. And the only reason I don't have one now is because it was a limited edition run. They don't make them anymore. And now they make them, you can find them on eBay second hand. They're about 300 quid. So I haven't bought one yet. But I might be selling a Dan Electro Longhorn baritone guitar before too long. And I've got to spend that money somewhere. So Mission to Uranus. Take that. Well, introducing the Khyber. We're back where we started. I think that's a good place to end. Take care. See you on the next one. Cheers.